So the trade deadline has come through and it is gone. Just like that. So, but unlike last year, we actually had things to talk about. As you know, it was actually a pretty decent, if I may say so myself, pretty decent trade deadline. A lot of suspense.
I think it was one of the best ones in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in the past 2 years, at
They
least.
performed. They performed at least.
Yeah, and so when I say that, there was some surprises and whatnot, more so with the Andrew Wiggins to the Bay for D'Lo to Mini trade.
Wojbomb.
Yeah, so D'Angelo Russell was traded to play with his best friend finally in Minnesota. I think this is something that we can say that we've seen for a while until pretty much, I think it was, what was it, last night or this morning when we woke up?
What's this?
That was
Today?
just
When
It
when
deaded.
things took a turn and then
Yeah,
turned
it
right
deaded.
back.
It
Yeah,
deaded
it
itself.
came out the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think about that trade in particular?
It's tough. I think Timberwolves did what they had to do. I
Right.
like what they did for sure. I believe on that side that they could play a lot of great pick and roll basketball. Already friends, so hopefully maybe the chemistry's there. They play before together. They played before together in the
Yeah.
past.
No,
No, it's just good friends.
They're just best friends.
Okay, so I would hope that the chemistry works out for them because I know they're extremely upset right now after losing, like you guys said, about 13 games in a row. But I think the more interesting side to me is Golden State because I'm really intrigued by how Wiggins is going to fit with these guys. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, he got done playing with Jimmy. They all, he called everybody soft on that team.
Right.
And you go into a team with a guy like Draymond that's not, regardless of,
And Draymond's out here dropping hit pieces, getting loose lips about D'Lo.
already.
They the article already came out talking about some more important player from the locker room wanted D'Lo out already, like pretty quick, and it's not hard to put two and two together as Draymond.
Right.
Bro, that's ridiculous.
Oh, they're lame for that. They did not hesitate to just start dropping hit pieces on them.
Like, for what? Like, I don't even want to get in. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
well, something like that could also be the media playing a role
No,
in the situation. You know what I'm saying?
I would say this much. Mike don't flew off the motherfucker. Whoa, boy!
Yeah,
He couldn't
I don't think
believe
he's
it.
here for that BS either.
Mike couldn't take that shit, so y'all seen it live. But no, I think that it kind of fits the bill. I mean, I was watching All the Smoke with KD, and he kind of went into the fact what happened with him and Draymond.
Right.
And I think we all knew the story already. Frustration, not getting the ball and stuff like that. But this dude's clear to speak his mind. That's one, right?
Yeah,
Right.
well,
But the second thing that comes behind that to me is gonna be production, afterwards, right? Because you always could speak your mind, and we all knew during the championship run what you meant. But now the heat is on, and so like you're still, I don't know. I don't feel like that was. I think he's taking a toll a little bit on what the Warriors actually are because even when I watched that interview, and it's not to go back on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was willing to stay possibly if it was addressed. They never addressed any of it. It just happened and they covered it up. So now I'm, with you telling me this in this instance, it's like, how many more instances? It's not that he pushed him out because I think they were willing to trade him already, but that's still like, that's rash.
Yeah.
That's
like,
rash.
Like, how did
Like-
that come out right when he's traded? Like, was D'Lo really that bad?
No.
Like, I refuse to believe in that
And I
6
think-
months.
think
Because
he
it
played
even said
Brooklyn
in the
last night
article
and
that
he played good.
he wasn't like he was a bad personality. It's just they didn't like think he was like playing defense or whatever. The championship winning.
Did they want him to
defense,
be like a
It
perimeter
was pretty much
defender?
how it's set up. It was obvious that it was Draymond just making complaints.
Would he ever say that about Steph Curry?
No,
All right. No. So that'd be, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, all right then.
but
Because
yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
we don't
but
watch the whole series.
But nonetheless, I like Andrew Wiggins going there. I think that he can bring a lot of things to them, more so on the offensive side versus the defensive side. I feel like him going to the Warriors is going to help his defense because he'll actually
of course.
he'll be more inspired to play, and not this year,
It's gonna
but
make
next
you look,
year.
and then on the stat sheet, you know
Yeah.
when the nerds get the stat sheet out, it's gonna make the defense look better no matter what when you got a great team defense. That's just the way it goes.
Absolutely, but I feel like he'll still like I said, not this year, but next year when Steph and Clay are back fully healthy, and well, the whole team is healthy, and they'll actually be able to compete for a playoff spot,
Right.
maybe a championship, maybe depending
Can't
on
rule it out.
if they make other moves or how how they all perform together. But Andrew Wiggins is a type of player that can bring them scoring on all levels.
Mm-hmm.
From the inside out and he can bring them that versatility to help defenses, not lock in on Steph.
Yeah, they're trying to plug as much back from what they lost from Kevin
Yeah.
Durant.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can bring all that, but the problem is there's no guarantee whatsoever. I think it's premature to think, oh, it's going to work for him.
Oh no. Yeah, I agree
I
with
see
that.
too many
Yeah,
people
I
that
agree
just
with
assume that,
No.
right now, because they're the ones that
No.
are taking
You can
they're the ones taking a way bigger risk doing this.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
First of all, you can't plug in 23. Like you think you're gonna get 23 PPG.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah,
not-
no,
that's
no.
not how it's gonna work because you're gonna get less shots now.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the first thing
He's
you can't
gonna
do.
be like their third option.
Right. But I mean, I think to even further that, because I know we're having this discussion about that. What I look more towards is how the ping pong balls are gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many ping pong balls will the Warriors have lottery day? You know what I'm saying? I think that's gonna be just as equally important because they still have some of the roster to fill out. This isn't the final version of the roster, and if they're gonna continue saying Steph's hurt, which obviously looks like they're playing the side that they're playing, I would also go to mention that this trade in the immediate, if we're just talking Wiggins, is going to make them worse today.
Yeah.
D'Lo was making them better as a team. So I think you're set to lose more games with Andrew Wiggins in opposed to
For the rest of this season.
yeah, but I think that's the plan. Like it all is
Yeah.
meshing to me. It's like D'Lo would have helped you win more games than Wiggins will
Yeah.
by himself.
More so, yeah. I can definitely agree with that. But the purpose of the trade is not necessarily for this year. I mean, I feel like it will key in because of the draft pick that they might be able to get, if they are losing more games and whatnot from this trade. But it's the ultimate goal with making this trade happen was to make sure that they're set up for a better year next year than what they thought they would have been if they would have kept D'Lo.
I think it just plays all in one is what I'm trying to say.
I still have
Yeah.
no idea why they were so quick to get rid of him. If they knew there was other interest out there.
Well, they probably understood that it wasn't going to be the best fit because of the fact that Andrew Wiggins has more to his scoring than
Are you talking
D'Lo.
about trading him in the offseason?
Yeah. Like,
Oh, okay. That's what I
what's,
thought
what's
you
the
was
point of
talking about,
rushing right now?
Yeah, you talking about not making the trade now. So for me, the point would have been that you want to get him acclimated immediately. But I don't know if you thought that was the best you could have got if there was more to get. Because I thought the price tag on D'Lo's head was high. Personally, that's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think you try to get Wiggins acclimated immediately before the guys come back. That's for me trying to think for them.
Also,
you know
if
what I mean?
he had a problem with D'Lo, he's gonna have just as much problem with Wiggins.
Probably more.
The whole thing with
Effort.
Wiggins is that
Effort.
he has crazy talent. He just doesn't
Right.
have drive.
No
but-
effort.
But we've only seen him play on a team where,
Losing.
yeah, it's a bottom feeder team. Now he's on a team with championship caliber minds
Can't
and
hide
leaders.
now.
Well,
Cannot
I
hide
mean,
now.
he's still gonna
So
be on
he
the
could
bottom
play
for the
more
rest of the
inspired.
season, though.
I know
you
you
know?
can't. One thing I know is you cannot hide now. You know what I mean? So now,
Well, he
You
don't have the
become-
pressure of being number one pick either, just because he's on a new team. So that's all
Yeah,
that's
of course.
gone.
Right.
Right
I think a lot of his pressure is gone.
And he's playing on a team that have stars that are better than him.
Again, if I'm to say it today, I think that I don't even want to talk prematurely as to what they can be because I want to see what happens with them picks. I
Yeah.
think they're literally playing their cards to make sure they get the highest pick as possible. And I've been thinking that for months now.
Got you.
We all think the same.
Yeah, to get that boy LaMelo.
Also, I've seen enough of Bob Myers without Jerry West that I don't trust him at all. He
What
has
do you mean
done
so far
nothing
as,
else good.
Oh,
he
like
got
literally?
the core players which Jerry West helped him with, and pretty much outside of all that hasn't done anything good. Hasn't drafted good. Hasn't made any deals on the margins. So
I mean,
I don't have full confidence in him.
I think Pascal was a steal, right? You would call it a
Mhm.
steal. You talking about
But-
like before?
Also, but we gotta wait till next year to see how he plays with the whole
Right.
band.
Right.
Because right now he has all the
Got the free
opportunity
range.
right now.
You got the free range. Yeah, I mean it's definitely gonna be interesting, man.
I think Timberwolves made it off because they got off somebody they did not like whatsoever, who had a worse contract. for somebody who they've been wanting
Right.
since
For
the
a long
offseason,
time.
like for the last year and a half, and it might have helped them keep Cat. So
What do you guys think about Minnesota's end? Do you think that him and that Cat and D'Lo are gonna fit?
I think they're one of the perfect matches, personally.
Yeah.
I think, they make Cat happy. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much their only objective. We'll see how
Pick
good
and
they
roll
are.
is disgusting between them two, though. Pick and roll is gonna be real
Pick
fun.
and roll, pick and pop.
Pick and pop.
The
Yeah,
only
you got
pro-
options.
The only
those
problem
options
is they
with them,
both
yeah.
don't play defense, so that's one of
Yeah,
their
I think
Achilles
they're
heel
gonna have
again.
to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? In other
Right.
spots.
That's what they're gonna have to address in the offseason. Like somehow build a defense that can help them out.
I agree.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, in that case, they probably should have kept Covington, but
Well,
that's
they're
here nor
blowing
there.
up. They're
Yeah.
blowing it up. That's fine.
Right,
Yeah.
but what I like about this trade for Minnesota is it's going to be easier for both Cat and D'Lo to stay within rhythm, to get into the rhythm and then stay within, just because of how they'll be able to flow each other. For one, they're more willing to sacrifice for each other than Cat and Wiggins, more than likely. And then on top of that, you also have the fact that they're more willing to figure it out together.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So that pick and roll, that pick and pop, like we were just saying, could really be something scary.
Right. And I think what gets me in my head is like, what's set to come. I think Cat has taken another jump. I think D'Lo is still trying to find. I mean, we've seen crazy spurts, right?
Right.
But do you think that just with them that this correlates to a ship? No, I don't, because obviously the star power in the league is far and few between. But if they continue to take steps up, maybe we could be looking at something. But I'm interested to see what they could do in the off season. What other pieces are going to keep adding on? Like
Definitely.
You're saying.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next trade. So it finally happened. We've been waiting all year. John Morant and Dylan Brooks have been waiting all year.
Clearly.
Iggy was finally traded to Miami. The big piece in return was Justice Winslow. But Memphis also took
Jay
on.
Crowder, too.
Oh yeah, and Jay Crowder for Miami as well. I feel like he's more of a system. He's not that big of a piece to me.
What?
He's real system-like. I don't think Jay Crowder is a huge piece.
Damn, he just threw that in like it was like.
They give us cash.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, Jay Crowder's whatever to me.
I mean,
But anyways,
all right.
I'm not. That's not the point of this right now.
Oh,
Okay?
he's getting brought up because he's a pretty big piece along with Iggy.
He's a pretty big system piece, absolutely. So hopefully he can fit into the
All right,
system.
first, all right, we're running it back right now. What the fuck do you mean by system piece?
Hopefully he can fit into the system. He said it himself. He's a system player when he was in Cleveland.
But why do you keep harping on that? Like, you know what's their system? Getting a bunch of wings to go, head up for Giannis.
I'm saying that being a system, you're not gonna fit in every single system. You know
So
what I'm
him
saying?
not just playing defense and shooting threes was pretty much he signed up for it.
Hey, he
This
was
is
doing
how-
that in Cleveland and it wasn't working out for him. So
There's now Jimmy, Iggy, and him.
right,
Three different bodies plus all their shooters specifically built to try to stop Giannis.
he had LeBron on his team, the ultimate guy that you want as a 3-and-D player. So and he couldn't make it work. So I'm just saying
It's a little
that he's
hard. I
not.
think- wait,
he
What
hasn't
did
been.
Giannis do to you?
Is Jay?
He didn't
is-
do
hold
anything
on.
to me. That's like you're the one that wants to bring it up. So I'm gonna go full fledged on this right now. You know what I'm saying? But
Is
the
Jay-
point that I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get into the actual trade here. I'm not trying to single him out.
That's a
So
discussion. But yeah.
yes, let's
Yeah.
talk about Iggy, the actual person that matters in this trade from Miami.
See,
I think that's
he does it to
that's the
himself.
issue.
He does it to himself. He's like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna single him out, bro. So Iggy.
Yeah, like
And all
I'm
like
not
to the
singling
six.
Jay. I'm singling Iggy.
no, because I
Iggy out.
think that's the biggest issue is that you're saying Iggy is the only piece. Because when you see Jay in that trade, you don't think that means enough. I think that's the issue because Jay is just the biggest piece. I mean, Iggy is the piece. He's a championship puzzle
He's the
piece for
piece.
everybody, right? But Jay wasn't just.
He's a 35-year-old that was
Yeah,
sitting for a
right,
whole
right.
year, bro. We're not just gonna automatically assume that Iggy's gonna come in and be key piece.
Been saying that though.
This has
been
been something
saying
people should have been saying.
saying that.
Nobody
He-
thought he
he
was
a
gonna
Heat
wait to the
fan.
deadline.
But I still, regardless of the fact, right? What does Memphis get back again?
Pretty much Justin Winslow because they're about to buy out
Right.
waiters.
You say you've been hurt. You've been hurt a lot.
He's played
this year?
11 games this year.
Okay,
Alright.
so fair enough. I mean, I think to look towards the future with Memphis, the hope is that he gets healthy with the young core that they have, and hopefully can shine to be
Well,
what expected.
they got like 6+ people in that young core now that are really good.
Right.
They probably
So,
got
I
the
mean,
best young core in the league already.
looks real solid to me. I think they did the best they possibly could for the reason that he wasn't playing anyway.
Well, they still got something. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So, I didn't even know you had to throw Jay in this trade. I didn't think that was a thing.
Well, I think they were just trying to trade. And then
I didn't know he was trying to
this
get rid
also
of him,
helped
you know?
Miami because they got off their two worst contracts.
Right. I mean, everybody wins. What do you want to say? You know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like Memphis, like obviously in the future we'll know a lot more, but like you just said, like I think they have a very strong young core that we
Right.
could look forward to if Justice stays healthy. Sky's the limit for the most part, I would say.
Yeah, I like it. I like it on both ends as long as Justice stays healthy.
Right, right.
Otherwise,
He's pretty much younger Iggy right now.
Yeah, that's how I felt. That is how I felt when I seen it. Because I was so, like, when I came back, I even told her, I was like, damn, man, you old as hell. And then, you know what I'm saying, the 2-year
I
extension,
think
too.
another reason why they were willing to get rid of him is that he's only like 6'4", 6'5". Crowder's
Justice?
at least, yeah, he's at least 6'7".
Crowder 6'7"?
6'6", 6'7". He's
Yeah.
bigger.
yeah, he's pretty
bigger.
I didn't know he was 6'7", but I just think about the extension though too. It's like, you know what I'm saying. I'm not sure about everything. You know, obviously want to lock him in, but
Yeah.
when I look at Miami and the more that I did, and the more that me and you talked about it.
Well, it's pretty much just like an extra year because that second year, if they can figure out they have a star coming, pretty much, or Giannis, pretty much, they can just it's a team option, so they can deny it.
Okay.
But if they end up finding out they're not gonna get nobody, they can just bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they got. I do. I like what they got. The more that I think
I
about
think
it.
it's a really good trade for Miami.
Yeah, and I think if you have to take into account that, you know, because my first thought, until you tell me Justice Winslow ain't playing, I ain't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, Justice, damn. Because I think the last time we had conversation about Justice was where we was talking about him, Bam. You know, he's looking at the stats.
Right.
I'm like, damn, boy playing decent. But, you know, you're 11 games. You're like, God damn, boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't playing at all.
That's what
Right
those
after that,
those back
that conversation, you
That's when
stopped
it,
playing.
that's when it
Those-
started happening.
back injuries aren't fun.
Yeah,
Right.
man. So, I mean, yeah, both teams win.
All right, now let's talk about Andre Drummond
Ah,
getting
damn.
traded to the Cavs
Dude, Pistons are such idiots.
for paper clips, lint,
And a second round pick.
What do they think?
and a pack of cigarettes.
How do y'all feel? What do they think? What do they think? They think somebody
I
coming?
think this is the sign that teams just don't think centers are valuable no more.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that this is a sign that Detroit is just giving up. They do
True.
not know where to go from here.
And they just gonna leave D Rose there.
Yeah,
So they're gonna ask for a first round pick for Luke Kennard, but they're gonna just sent off
That
Drummond
seems-
at the
that
last
makes sense.
at the last second. They're like, "Here, bro, just give us a second round pick and
You
Brandon."
gotta be thinking about money at that point, though,
And
right? Because his
Henson.
contract is heavy, is it not?
Yeah, but he's gonna be a free agent, so who cares about the money at that point?
right.
This is last year's contract.
He's a top free agent technically.
Damn. so
Also,
what's
also,
up with
I don't
the
even-
Cavs?
and
The
on
Cavs
so
top,
funny
and
to
on
me.
top, I don't know why the Cavs got
That's
it.
what I was
Yeah.
just about
Like,
to
what the
say.
fuck? Like I get
Hey, they
Tr-
just want to. You know
Tristan
what
Thompson.
happened?
Tristan Thompson's gonna leave, but they still got Kevin Love, and obviously it ain't that easy
He
to trade
ain't trying
Kevin
to be
Love.
there
So
either. But I'm saying, you know what it really was. It was like
they're like, "Oh, that's it."
at
All right, let's do it.
recess where like kids was
We
playing
got
with
to
some,
look.
kids was
They were legit like, "Hey, we're gonna give you this," and they're like, "They'll say no for sure, 100%." They're like, "Oh no, we'll take it." Like,
Bro, remind me
Oh,
of like when
all
kids,
right, whatever.
was,
All right,
kids
let's
was
do
playing
it.
with something cool. Kids was playing with something cool at recess, and two of the kids that's less popular said, "Shit, I'm trying to play too," and jumped right into some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
This was definitely one of those trades where you're playing 2K and you take the
Yeah,
take
oh, yeah.
no, there's no
you
way.
take
Your
trade
offense
restrictions
is,
off.
It's literally gonna just be like one bar. And they'll be like,
Yeah.
the game will tell you, like, "Fuck you thinking?"
yeah. So I mean, both don't make sense.
Yeah, no, they don't.
It doesn't make sense all around the board. And
I
for
mean,
Detroit,
Who wins?
bro, Detroit. Yeah, no wins, no
Who
wins,
wins?
no wins, tie.
I mean, at this point, I guess Cavs, if they can like trade off Kevin Love,
no, I would say like if I had to pick one, it would
Yeah.
be. But it's like, what the hell?
because at worst
Detroit-
case, even if you leave, you're like, "Oh, well, I just lost."
Dude,
second round
honestly,
pick. Who
like I
cares?"
didn't have enough time to think about it because I seen him in the Cavs jersey, the little Photoshop Bleacher posted, and now the more that I think about it, like, what is Detroit thinking? Like, because, damn, man, Blake got to come back to that too. Whenever he does decide to come back, granted, like, and then D Rose
This
just
is
there.
so funny. This is
Bro,
so
it's
funny.
like it's too deep. Who did they just draft? Like whoever is probably mad as hell.
I don't even think they had a first round pick this year.
They're one of the
I'm
worst teams.
surprised.
They the worst
Oh,
team
no,
in
they
basketball,
didn't.
maybe.
They
No, for real. You think so?
No,
No. Who you got?
they're definitely in purgatory though.
Who you got then?
Worse?
Cause I know the Bulls suck, but I don't think they were Detroit.
Knicks, easy.
The Knicks.
Okay. I don't know.
The Knicks.
Think so? Was
They've
just
been
because they
bad
got
for
Rose?
so long.
They're going on 20 years in the biggest market, in the pretty much the number one market.
I don't know, man.
being
I would take the Knicks situation
trash.
more than the Pistons.
Why?
I just like having
Because
RJ.
of the city you're in?
Just RJ.
Just cause you're in New York.
I don't,
not
not me personally.
Exactly. That's what
Like
it
I
seems
would
like.
like to start with
Why
what
else?
the Knicks, and it's terrible what the Knicks have, but when I look at
Dude,
Detroit,
RJ
it's like a
Barrett-
bunch
RJ
of
Barrett's pretty much just like the only thing.
Yeah,
And
I
the
know
Pistons don't
that,
it-
but it's like it's a cornerstone at least. And then when we talk about the Pistons, it's like Rose got to go somewhere. Blake Griffin is hurt as hell, so that's over.
Okay.
And then like I'm asking like who they picked, and we don't even know who the hell
Luke
they picked.
Kennard was like a couple years ago.
But that's like new Kennard. He is supposed to be a complimentary piece on the team. So it's
Right.
like I would probably take the Knicks. Not you probably saying worst team night to night, I guess, right? But I'm talking about like if I'm gonna step my shoes in the franchise, I might mess with the Knicks before I'm gonna go mess with the Pistons right now. It's bad. It's bad, man.
Yeah.
At least they got one guy that you say maybe he can be a star one day. It's my
But, you
point.
know, but okay, so you'd rather play for the Knicks than play with your boy D Rose?
I ain't say all that. I was talking from a management perspective. I'd rather come in and have a guy that maybe could be a star one day. I don't know if he will be.
Oh, I cannot
Guess
pronounce
that
his
won't
name.
be
but
you.
It was like the
Sequoia. Yeah.
That was like that's probably
He
the next
actually,
guy.
he's actually pretty good though. Sequoia's pretty
Yeah,
good, but still doesn't matter.
No, nobody.
All right, now let's go on to Philly grabbing some shooting. They picked up Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson.
The third for
Yeah,
just
so-
like three
so-
second-round picks.
Yeah,
I
some
believe.
second-round picks.
They probably needed him tonight, huh?
So probably.
Glenn Robinson.
That's what it seems like.
Was really the good pickup. Burks
Yeah.
is, I guess, more like
He
he
just
do
get-
offense. He's not the greatest
He's
shooter.
getting passed around so much now. Yeah, I mean, more or less like just a lot of teams. You know what I mean? So, I thought, yeah,
I don't think it's been that many. It's been like 3,
Four,
4.
four.
because he was on the Cavs.
Oh
before.
yeah, forgot about the Cavs. Yes.
And I guess just what I
The
expect
reason
from
it feels
him.
like a loss because when they all happened within like the last couple of years,
Fast.
that's what he's been moving.
Fast. Yeah, no, because I liked him coming out of college. It came out of Colorado, right? Yeah. and then-
Well, he started off good, then he got hurt, and that's what really
Yeah.
messed him up.
But I mean, it's obviously what Phillies needed, and they continue to need. But
I think Glenn Robinson doesn't be big for him because he's not that bad defense. He's been really good at threes.
okay.
That's like the one thing with Steve Kerr is that
What
he
did
actually
they?
helped.
What
him
did
this
they?
year.
What they was just dump? What was this trade about? For
Just
It was just about grabbing shooters.
no, not about the Sixers. The other end.
Warriors
Yeah. What they
Draft
doing?
capital.
just being bums, so they're like, oh, we're just gonna sell off whatever
Yeah.
you give us for him.
What did they get?
Second-round picks.
Three second-round picks, which they're gonna probably use them in a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, because
Yeah.
like Glenn Robinson could probably give you something on the tail end of a run as well.
They said that coming like off season, the coaches are gonna try to go after him and bring him back after.
The free agent.
Mhm.
Oh, gotcha.
That's interesting, but hey, it makes
Yeah.
sense if so.
He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
especially you get him.
That's why he was probably the one. Like, for
They
if he's
probably-
of all it took was a couple second round picks, I think there was other teams that should.
They probably keep it in mind like they
Right.
ain't gonna win the ship. He ain't gonna return to Philly anyway. So they
That's-
probably
we
we got a chance to get him back.
Philly ain't gonna bring him back.
All right, now let's go into the Clippers grabbing Marcus Morris and Isaiah Thomas in a 3-team trade with the Wizards and Knicks, in which the Wizards got Jerome Robinson and the Knicks got Mo Harkless and a 2020 first-round pick, 2023 second-round pick.
What do you
Interesting. What do
say?
you guys think about this?
You know what? What I really think is that, and this is my biggest take on today, because obviously this came down to Lakers and Clippers, right? You know, so
Right.
I think at a certain point, it becomes more and more evident to me throughout the course of time that,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like the pick singling the Lakers out in a sense, because
Okay.
on one account you asked for Kuzma and Danny Green, if I'm not mistaken. What the hell is that?
They asked for Danny
What the
Green
hell is
so
that?
they could then
How?
flip him to the Mavs.
How? And then you turn around and trade him for that. That makes
I-
no sense to me whatsoever.
Nobody knows what the Knicks are doing.
No sense to me. So
No,
I don't know if
that's-
that's like.
That's the NBA putting the Lakers.
That's
tax
what
on
it
everything.
seemed. That's what it seemed to me today. Once again, as we've talked about other occasions with drug tests, but today for sure seemed like that to me, because I thought, if you looking for a building piece out of all these teams, why you not look at Kuzma more than anything? And I thought that was enough.
Yeah.
If you had to throw something else, it sure as hell ain't Danny Green.
Right.
That's one thing I do know. You know, that's like trying to like stick a dagger in the heart of the Lakers for the most part, trying to take off too much. For the Clippers stepping in, obviously every single thing is becoming competitive down to every single trade at this point to make sure that, you know, whoever like
it's almost seeming
50%
petty.
of them thinking of moves is all right. We don't want the Lakers to get him.
Exactly. That's how it feels because
Yeah, it seems petty at this point.
Yeah, at this point they're trying to get Collison for pretty much the only reason like we just don't want you on the Lakers.
Well, that and
Right.
in IT, keep in mind, IT ain't even he's dropped.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
done. He ain't even be a Clipper. So,
Yeah.
and I thought that was, I didn't know, you know, and you were talking about him being a liability, which I understood, but I still thought it was some couple minutes for him off the bench real quick, being a liability. They got a good enough team.
Yeah, I feel like Isaiah Thomas has to find a team where they don't have any scorers at all.
Something.
For him, he needs to find a team where
I think he would have been good at Utah before they got Clarkson. Now they got that score off the bench from
Yeah.
Clarkson, so I don't think they're necessarily.
that could definitely help,
you know.
or just a team that's just really based around a lot of defensive players looking for a real bucket getter.
Well,
I feel like
my
Isaiah
question
Thomas
is,
could be that.
I think my biggest question is, aside from the fact that, you know, where Isaiah could go, bless that dude's heart, he worked his butt off to get back, so I
Right.
hope he does get another job, which I think he will. Are they dropping him to go after Collison now?
I think they just dropped him just to leave a spot open. I think they're gonna wait out for the buyout market and then obviously wait for Collison.
right. See what happens from there.
So they're trying to take Collison as well at this point.
They're still in it. They're still trying to get him. So
Well,
Petty.
yeah, I think the latest rumor I heard was Collison was more interested in the Lakers. That was the latest rumor that I heard about it.
yeah, but then
Right.
Matt Barnes came out and said texted him and he said he's even 50-50 on even coming back. So it's
Oh,
still
wow. Okay.
it's still a bunch of
Cool. But yeah, no, I think they too. I mean, they playing competitive on the market and
Right.
as petty as it can be. It's the head across. It's the Lakers and Clippers right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it. So you got to do whatever you can to get over the top. Now, I thought the Lakers brought to the table what was needed, and you know, like I said, they got nudged out, and it wasn't for what they offered wasn't good enough because it was.
Right.
You just want the world, you know, from that end, which
Yeah,
doesn't make
like,
much sense. to me.
because they had all they had to do was offer like a mixture of like 3 other players with Kuzma to get the money. They're like, no, but we need Danny Green.
Like, bro, that's insane.
But the thing
dude.
is, they were trying to get Danny Green and flip him, most likely to the Mavericks, who were almost signed him in the offseason.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that.
They're gonna try to get their first round pick, and then Courtney Lee's expiring contract.
Hey, man, I don't know what it is. I do think though is, the Lakers are going to need to make a couple of plays to catch up to this, essentially, by the end of it, in my personal opinion, because I do think they need something, and we all agreed with them needing a
Yeah,
playmaker.
they cannot stand pat. There's no way.
Exactly. I don't think that's a possibility right now, and to think that everything's going to be peaches coming to postseason, barring health for everybody. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
They need to get Rondo off that court immediately. So if they can get Collison, that needs to be all Rondo's minutes gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's Collison or, you know, Bus, and then obviously J.R. Smith is the funny, right? But
Right.
you know, I think it's a realistic possibility at this rate if you bring those two guys in, if you can do so, you know, and see where that leads you. Because I think as long as they get the playmaker, we're gonna have
Because if they
one
can
of the
still get
greatest-
Collison and then they hope Marvin Williams gets bought out and they get him, then they'll
right
be
back,
fine.
right back.
It'll be no damage.
But as
But,
of right now, today,
but at this
how I
point,
feel-
they gotta hope on Marvin Williams.
right, and I just thought that the Clippers did a really good job.
Yeah, I think this.
That being petty.
I think this Morris trade for sure has made him the favorite, like for sure for now until we
Yeah.
see what happens
What
in the
happens.
buyouts.
Yeah, I think it's petty, man. I think it's chess, not checkers, though, as well.
Definitely.
But again,
I agree with that.
I will reiterate this till I'm blue in the face. The Lakers came to the table with the right assets, but it's the constant reminder that you got a target on your back. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Wearing purple and gold. So
Now let's get into the first trade that kind of sparked everything really, between the 3 teams: the Rockets, the Hawks, and the was it the Timberwolves? No, sorry, the Nuggets. The Nuggets. So the Houston Rockets got Robert Covington, and the Hawks got Clint Capella, and the Nuggets got Joe Green, and the first round pick.
Yeah, I think it was in the 14s then.
no, there's 14.
Because the Timberwolves did get involved because Jordan
Yeah.
Bell got sent to the
And
Rockets,
then
who
even,
ended
like,
up
to
getting sent.
And then they got
Further it further
Malik
than that.
Beasley. That's
Right.
kind of like the main piece.
Napier was in the trade,
That
and
flipped
he
to
got
Bootle,
traded
yeah.
too. So it was like
Yeah.
it's probably
So
like
it
the
was
biggest
12
trade
it
of
was-
all time.
It was what?
Almost.
Yeah, it was 12 players.
Yeah.
Total.
I think I
Jesus,
know
that's
it
a
was the
lot.
biggest trade since Ewing
Yeah.
in like 2000,
Seattle.
something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
2000.
And then from that point, I think the underlying ones that we're talking about, Napier like getting shipped off, I think that makes it officially close to be the biggest trade, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken.
Definitely. So what do you guys think about Clint Capella going to Atlanta?
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's what the doctor
I want to
ordered.
see,
kinda.
but I think it's cool for them.
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
one of the things that they ordered. They have a lot.
Oh yeah,
They
of
have to
course,
kinda
of course.
address.
I don't think that just makes up for everything for them, but
I think
don't-
Trey Young can still get him his oops like how
Mhm.
Harden was getting it to him.
same exact way,
Right? Definitely.
if not better. If
Yeah,
not
he might
better,
be able to do it better.
you know what I'm saying?
But- That's debatable, for real.
I would say it's debatable for the fact that how many shots are being taken on that end compared to Trey. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think he's a little bit more conservative. I don't think it's by much.
Right.
But I think they didn't put out too much neither.
Right.
If I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
didn't really have to do too much to hurt their team or their assets and their future.
No, definitely not.
So I think they were just the Rockets were so I mean, we can talk about the Rockets right now. God, Lee, what?
I mean, they're really about to have PJ Tucker.
I'm
playing
pretty
center.
sure I can get that lineup play center right now.
Yeah,
Really?
I saw somebody say like Isaiah Thomas is available, so now the Rockets can really
Get a
get a
center.
center.
Yeah.
Man, it's insane. I don't know.
They're
the
taking
deadline's
small ball
over.
to like
And you-
extreme.
And so when the trade happened, right? And when the trade happened,
Daryl Morey, man.
when the trade happened, and it's a product of being cheap, as well. I would
Oh,
say.
that owner, yeah. The
Yeah,
owner,
I
the
think
owner
this is a product of
real
being cheap. But when the trade happened, I thought to myself, this can't be the end of it. You know what I'm saying? And they was rumored and linked to a center in the East, and then the deadline's over today, and nothing.
So
Right.
that's pretty much what they're gonna try to get is off the buyouts market.
Right.
They're
They're gonna have to.
They're hoping the center gets in.
They're gonna have to. They have no choice at this point because realistically, what it comes down to is what everybody knows, man. In the regular season, I think you can glide through. You're gonna make a playoff. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. But I think Shaq said it best, and everybody thinks it best to be the same.
Right.
You're gonna get in the playoffs, and you know what's gonna happen. You got these big athletic dudes. You know what I mean? Obviously, tonight is probably one of the biggest dude you're going to play. It's AD. Biggest skill dude you're going to play
Right.
in the league. So that's going to be an example. You know, what happens to
And
them
then
tonight is going to be an
Jokic.
example. But I
They
mean,
have to face
Jokic.
Jokic is another one.
Man, I would
Right.
just name
Even
dudes
Go
that I-
Gobert.
Thank you. I was about to
Gobert's-
say,
they're-
dude. Like,
You might be able to run him off the court, but on offense, all they gotta do is throw it up.
oh.
Good luck.
You know what I mean?
It'll be just a dunk
What's the
every
tallest guy on
time.
the roster right now? It's
I
your
could
boy.
not tell you.
Guy you said.
Well, no, they have centers on the roster. It's just they're not.
They just
Worth
traded
the
for
time,
Bruno,
dude.
whatever.
Yeah.
no,
man.
well, and they
He
have
was
they
like
have
a six-
Hardenstein as well. Hardenstein, he's 7 foot, but he's
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's ever heard
right.
of him.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know specifically.
I was thinking Daniel House might be playing center at 6'6".
Dude, what's so crazy
Dude,
to me is like you
PJ
just
Tucker's 6'5", so
you just gonna shoot threes. You gotta make them.
yeah,
You
they're
ain't got no choice.
They're gonna somehow shoot even more threes, which is
You have no
nuts.
choice. Now you're gonna be shooting like 60
60?
some threes a game, and you have no choice but to make these shots. Because when you start missing them, first of all, defensive rebound, like, dude, it hurts my head thinking about this because
People, let this be a lesson to you. When you focus on the analytics, it's not always gonna do what you need it to do
you gotta
for
say
you.
mixture things on analytics.
Take
being
notes.
cheap.
This
analytics
is
being cheap make a
this is
bad
analytics
bad-
of being
Al-
cheap.
and
Also,
being cheap, too.
also Harden being a shitty teammate and making them trade for Westbrook when they shouldn't have. When he was a worse fit and they had to give up 2 first-round picks, which made it even harder for him to get other pieces
I
too.
wonder how bad it is.
Right.
I wonder how bad like Westbrook's like. Jesus Christ.
And he's been good too, but then James Harden's
This
been
is
on the slump.
insane. This
Been on
is
a
Yeah.
pretty
insane.
big slump.
This is one of the most insane.
They haven't
things
been
I've
able to
ever
click
seen.
yet, but hopefully for their sake they do at some
Yeah,
point.
we'll see the buyout market.
What do you guys think about the Nuggets?
Who they get back?
They got Gerald Green, they got Shabazz
Montalvo?
Napier, they got a first round pick. They
I
they
think
got
the-
small picks,
I
but
think
I
the
think that
first
they were
pick-
just trying to dump
Yeah,
players.
because I think they knew they weren't going to be able to re-sign Malik Beasley. If I believe
Yeah.
that he was about to be a free agent.
And they have so much depth, anyways.
Yeah.
I think
This also
they just
open-
needed to dump some.
Also
players.
opened up a spot for Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
more,
I-
more
Yeah,
minutes.
more
They
minutes
could've-
for him and potentially a spot to actually get some minutes for Bol Bol.
Oh man.
It always comes back.
But I mean, I
Had to
think
slide that
they're
in
they're
there.
a
The
team.
Rockets should have just traded for Bol Bol too. They're like,
Yeah,
hey, bro,
for
might as well
real.
just give him
Hey,
a-
Nah, for
honestly,
real.
they
Now that would have
they
been
could've.
cool.
At this
Now,
point,
that would have
they
been
need
cool.
him.
yeah,
That would have been cool.
they should have and they could have.
You know, I probably would have been like, y'all did decent there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been kind of accepting of the trade if that was the case. But nah, that ain't it, Chief. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
man.
saying?
Right.
They got 6'7"
This
Robert
is
Covington.
just like desperation. And
Who
hope
really lines up at center tonight? Does anybody know?
that- PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker,
He's really
man.
gonna be a center. Those
With the
him
stilts.
on stilts. That's a legit. Like he's literally gonna
with
be
the
him.
stilts.
You just gotta sit back. You know, if you
Daniel
PJ Tucker, you
House.
just gotta have the Aidas face, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? I can't
He's
begin
gonna
to
be so
think.
much
You know,
pain, dude.
like you said, the buyout market, hopefully for them, can play to their
Dude, at
benefit.
this point, if a dude's 6'9", you might as well you go after him and be like, "Oh, you're
Yeah.
our center now. You're
No,
6'9".
for real. Realistically,
All right, let us know what you guys think. Just go ahead, drop a comment below. Let us know which trade in particular caught your eye, which one you liked the best, and comment below which team got the worst of all this.